AITA for rejecting my colleague's request to make her lunch? I have a habit of making my own meals to work, simply because I love cooking and health-related issues. So I just started a new job in a new company 3 months ago. And seeing me making my own lunch every day got me some attention from some colleagues. With that, I was able to talk and mingle in a new environment. My colleagues tend to ask things like recipes. How long did I take to make it so and so? Just small talk questions. Everyone was okay, except for this one girl from the same department from me, which I will name her as Sally, 27F, a junior designer. From the first day she saw my lunch, Sally threw in a lot of comments like how envious she is that I could cook my own meals, etc. It was fine until 1 week later. She started asking me questions like, "So when will you make me lunch?" I was taken aback, but I thought she was joking, and waved it off with a smile and a nod. After that, at least once a week, Sally would ask me the same question again, and sometimes she'd even say things like, "You still owe me a lunch made by you." Or she'll whine about me not wanting to cook for her. I've kindly turned her down every time she brings up about this issue. Last Monday, she offered to pay me if I make her lunch for $3. I told her no again, and she was visibly upset. She told me it's not that hard to make her lunch since I'm already cooking for myself every day, single, and I am being unsociable and unfriendly by not making her food. Since then, she has been passively aggressive towards me, as well as not willing to cooperate at work when I hand her new tasks. It has made me feel bad about it, and I have no idea how to go about this. Should I have just made her lunch just to keep the peace? This feels horrible, and I don't know how to deal with it. Edit. After reading all your comments, I think I will try to talk to Sally about this, and if that doesn't get through, I'll have to discuss this matter with the same ranking colleague or my supervisor. Hey, quick reminder, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. Verdict: not the asshole relevant comments. Comment: NTA. Tell her you are under no obligation to cook for her or anyone else. Full stop. I also suggest registering a complaint with HR before she turns this into something else. OP. I've told her that before, but she'll go all pick-me-up girlish, saying things like, "But your food looks so good." It's honestly driving me crazy, especially now that her attitude has flipped 180 degrees after I turn her down for 3 months. Update #1, November 27th, 2023. Not sure how to post an update, so I will just write it out on my own profile. First off, I would like to clarify some details I left out in my previous post. You can skip this if you don't really bother with the deets. For those who said Sally is flirting with me, I am 26F, and Sally is anti-LGBTQ, so I think flirting is highly impossible. For those who asked about my job, I work in a design agency as a senior designer. Sally is my work junior. I work closely with the juniors as I oversee their work. Also, I am actually from Southeast Asia. I used USD in my previous post was because Sally legit told me $3 because USD is 4 times more than our currency. Somehow she believes it sounds nicer. So, after reading most of your comments, I have gave it a long thought about how I want to approach this issue. With that, I decided to not make lunch today and bring Sally out for lunch, as to confront her about this whole lunch thingy privately. I offered to pay for her lunch on the condition I picked the venue, and she was quick to agree, and her attitude went back to how it was before I declined her request, which I find it weird. But yeah, I was first relieved that at the least I could talk to her about things and hoping I can iron this out on my own. That 40 minutes of my life felt like hell. I brought up the issue of me not being comfortable with her recent attitude and her requests after we had ordered our food. The whole time I was talking to her, she either zones out or just retort with "why?" or "why not?" Here's a little snippet of how our conversation went. Me: Sally, your constant pestering about how I should make you lunch is making me uncomfortable. I'd appreciate if you'd stop that. Sally: why? Me: I mean, like, I don't cook for anyone other than myself, Sally. Why? Me: because, Sally, I'm your colleague, not your BF or mom or family. Sally: but I don't see why you couldn't make me lunch just once. I'll pay you double this time. It felt like the conversation was going nowhere. The rest of lunch was filled with awkward silence. Sally would just sit there and stare at me without saying anything, and I'm not sure if it's just her zoning out or she's somewhat pissed at me. She didn't even apologize, not once. The whole thing made my stomach feel weird, like something is grabbing my guts and twisting them around. The tension between us was awkward even the whole way we walked back to the office. Another senior designer, Mark, took notice and he pulled me away to talk about work. Sally gave me one more look and walked to her seat. Mind you, up until this point, I have never talked to anyone in the company about Sally and things she had told me. I was brought into a breakout room. Mark went straight to the point. Did Sally ask you for something ridiculous or weird? Turns out, some people in the office were unhappy with Sally and her little antics. She once pestered a colleague into buying her souvenirs as this colleague does a lot of work traveling. In meetings, she would zone out when people are talking to her and she would always shift the weight to someone else. For example, well, we have XX, so there's nothing to worry about. Also, few times she'd take bits of food off guys' plates like fries and would giggle if anyone tries to tell her off. If the giggling doesn't work, she would retort the same whys and why nots I got during my talk with her. Mark suggests I should make arrangements with my supervisor to talk about it. They had all done it earlier this year, and that stopped her from doing what she did to them. Well, most of them. She still zones out in meetings or mid-conversations. I thanked Mark for his suggestion and decided it was a necessary next step. I have told my reporting manager about the gist of things, and I will be having a meeting with him tomorrow to give him more in-depth details. Somehow, it's assuring to see he actually had to massage his forehead, followed by a long sigh when I mentioned Sally's name. I hope things will get better after this. P.S. As I was typing this, I couldn't help but think back on some of Sally's behavior towards me throughout these 3 months, and at most times it is weird and IDK what to make of them. Maybe I'll make a separate post about it. If anyone is invested, haha. Update hash 2, November 27th, 2023. Not sure if anyone considers this an update, but I just want to write this out. I've talked about the whole Sally thing with my friends over Discord last night while we were playing games. Apparently some of my friends attended the same art school as Sally and was at one point sharing the same few classes. This is quite a famous art school in my country. If you tell people you are a designer, people's first guess would be you've studied there. From what I've gathered from my friends, in short, they described Sally as a person with bad social skills, but is naturally gifted in design. She doesn't talk much, but whenever she decides she wants to be friends with you, she can only spout questions that are uncomfortable to most people. In one instance, Sally asked a classmate why her parents got a divorce. With such, they've concluded she has bad social skills, but they have never seen her reacting negativity when people don't respond to her. They were shocked when I told them she was being uncooperative at work. Also, according to them, Sally behaves in a way that suggests her parents shield her from the world a lot. She's unaware of many things that's deemed common sense for most. She once became paranoid because she learned about scams in college and believed by picking up one phone call from a stranger would land her in a lifetime of debt. She's also very insecure about many things, for example, her looks, her weight, relationships, etc. At the end of the day, they didn't know much about Sally personally because back then they thought she was nosy by always asking people very personal questions. However, Sally does have a few friends in college. With this in mind, I recall how Sally asked me weird questions such as my salary as well as me joining the company as a senior, despite her having more work experience than me, as well as trying to dump her relationship problems on me. Maybe it is her attempt in trying to be friends with me. Now that I think about it, she needs some sort of professional help more than discipline for her actions. Relevant comments. Comment: she definitely has some social issues and probably needs therapy, but her behavior goes beyond just not understanding social cues. She may be neurodivergent, I'm neurodivergent myself, and her parents protecting her has stunted her development greatly. But that's not an excuse for breaking boundaries continuously and only stopping when a higher up is brought in. She must be an amazing designer to still have a job after all the things she's done and how she just doesn't seem to contribute to the team. She sounds like a nightmare to deal with, honestly. OP. Yes, she does do good work, and I do realize her behavior. It's not something you'd see every day. I've suggested to my supervisor that if it's possible for the company to kind of talk her into getting professional help, since we do have this benefit called mental health claims. Nonetheless, I do hope for the best for Sally. Unfortunately, I have no means nor the ability to help her. Final update. November 28th, 2023. Hello everyone, this will be the final update. Took me a little while to write this post because I was busy at work. First, I'd like to thank you internet strangers for all the advice and similar experiences. It helped me a lot with navigating this situation as a whole. However, I'm still baffled by such behaviors, ESP, in a work environment where I was taught people are professional there. Anyways, on to the main topic. I had my meeting about the issue I had with Sally first thing in the morning. I told my manager that the main problem is work, and about how uncooperative she was with me. It didn't take long for him to link this whole thing back to Sally making unreasonable requests for colleagues again. He didn't exactly tell me what the company would do at the time, but mentioned that the company would take appropriate measures in regard to this. Soon enough, an email was sent to Sally with all the senior designers CC'd in. In short, Sally will be put into probation, as well as having a 30% pay cut, and she has been assigned to a sterner and more experienced senior designer, I heard she's really scary, for work evaluation. Sally only gets one more chance to keep her job. One more of those requests from her after this would result in termination. Sally started kicking and crying upon reading the email as she yelled, "It's not fair," repeatedly. Everyone looked at Sally briefly and went back into their own businesses. I saw some colleagues put on their earphones and raising the volume, some put on earplugs, and the ones sitting near her would just walk away with their laptops. No one consoled her. Everyone just pretended she wasn't there. It felt as if I was watching a movie at this rate. Still a little worried that Sally would do something to me, I asked Mark if he could sit with me during lunch in case Sally tried anything. I'm not sure if Mark meant it as a joke or what, but he said, "No worries, she's not smart enough to link this back to you." Lunch since that day has never been so peaceful, and I'm looking forward to more peaceful lunches as long as I'm with this company. Relevant comments. Comment: great job seeing this through until the end. You improved your and all of your co-workers and superiors' work environment and mental health by leaps and bounds. I honestly wish the same for Sally still NTAOP. I do hope Sally understood what she's doing is not okay and improved herself. Though, I wouldn't see myself interacting with her anytime soon outside of work-related matters. We have come to the end of our story. Subscribe and like the video so as not to miss the videos that we will upload in the future. Tell me what do you think about this story in the comments. I'll see you in the next story.